My dream job as a child was actually to be a police officer because I had family members that were in law enforcement, and um, so I just, you know how you always want to be like somebody that you admire. Once I get to the facility, I'll sit in the warden's office. We'll just have a conversation, ask him how's everything going, the routine. Do you need anything? Anything going on? You need me to fix anything while I'm here? And the second thing that I would generally do is I'll either do it at the beginning or the end. I always talk to the cadets, new employees. I think it's important for them to meet and know the role of people in leadership that they'll be working for. And after that, the warden and his management team and I will walk on inspection. We'll go through the administrative areas, medical. If he has a GCI facility, we would go through that. And if it's a tier unit, we would, of course, go through there and admin seg. And then I would end my day at the facility back in the warden's office, just wrapping up if there was anything that I saw that needed to be addressed. I give the warden a little to-do list. And then I would ask the warden for a to-do list for me. Is there anything that I need to do for you? You need anything to help your facility run better? And those kind of things. And I would also talk to the management team to see if there was anything that they need. Just walking around and being able to have a very positive impact on lives, both offenders and staff. That's one thing that I just loved as a warden and, of course, as a regional director. When you think about it, we have a great opportunity to have a positive impact on a lot of lives. When you think about, I had facilities that have up to 1,700 offenders. To have an impact on that many lives and another 400 or 500 employees, that's amazing when you think about it. This has always been my motto: God first, family second, and work third. And I made sure that I balanced the three of them, and neither one of them went lacking. And that really helped me. It's almost like you gotta make a schedule to make sure that you take care of family, you take care of everything you need to do in your job. And of course, I'm very spiritual. My dad is a Baptist preacher. So that's all I know. So I made sure that I took care of my spiritual needs also, and that actually helped me along the way in my career. The most important lesson I probably learned is making sure that I always put on my best face. As I told you, I always watched Mr. Sykes when he was in his warden role. I had to be really careful, even if the kids had gotten in trouble in school, if I had something going on at home, I had to be really careful not to take that to work. Because I found out that the reflection or the demeanor that I had, my employees would mimic that. So if I was having a bad day, I just set the tone for everybody that I came in contact with to have a bad day. So the most important lesson I learned is to make sure that whatever I had going on, I had this 5 or 10 minutes before I went to work to kind of get my thoughts together and make sure that I, per se, put on my happy face. And it was most days really a happy face, but sometimes I had to position myself to make sure that I put my best foot forward before I walk in the facility. I always wanted to make sure that I set a great example for my kids. I want my kids to always, we talk about in church and in other organizations that I'm affiliated with, we always talk about being role models. And the one thing that if my kids are ever asked, who is your role model? I always want them to say that it's my mom, because I want to be their role model. And that probably motivated me more than anything. Just knowing that even though challenges are upon me, that I got to take the leadership role. I got to step up and be the leader and make sure that I work my way through whatever the challenges are, and then make sure that I have my folks to follow my lead. So we don't look at them. I don't look at challenges as challenges. I look at them as management opportunities. I talked about Mr. Sykes. He really inspired me. I have a lot of mentors, but three that really stick out, and I'll talk about them three that really inspired me. Mr. Sykes, because of his demeanor, I always wanted to mimic his demeanor. Guy Hickman was another one. He retired from this agency. He's passed away now. He only lived a little while after his retirement. He was a great mentor. I think I got my drive from him. He always wanted to do more, to be more, and he always wanted to learn. And Derek Schofield is the last one. He worked for our agency up to the role of assistant commissioner. He was our assistant commissioner, and then was later the commissioner for Department of Corrections in the state of Tennessee. He was my warden at Burris and at Georgia Knoxville Classification Prison. And when I needed to be serious, he was always a lot more serious and a lot less personable with his staff. But that was a good thing, because sometimes you just gotta get in there and take care of business. You don't have time for no preliminaries. So I learned how to deal with just taking care of business from him. That was a good trait that he had. A couple of pieces of advice. Mean what you say and say what you mean. A lot of times folks look, and this is unfortunate, but some people look at women as not being leaders. And I hope that I have changed that. The little contribution that I made in my agency, I hope that I changed that. Because we need to, I always felt like I had to do a lot more than my male counterparts. I probably didn't, but I always felt like I had to do a lot more to prove myself. But what I would tell females is make sure that you go above and beyond so that people will know who you are just by the work that you do. I would say the great push that we have put on inmate services as a whole, the great push on inmates getting their GEDs, the vocational programs that we push, it's always been my opinion, and I tell inmates this all the time as I was walking on inspection. What our goal is to make sure that your family is ready to receive you when you get home. So in order for us to do that, we got to make sure that you do not return home the same as when you left. That means that you've got to, if you don't have your GED, you got to get it. If you don't have good skills, you got to get it. Because one thing that you got working against you is a felony conviction. I think that we have set the bar way above and beyond other states in the United States. I actually was making a list as I was reminiscing over my career the night before my retirement luncheon. And I have a total of 32 people that I am mentoring that I know about. And again, there may be some folks, because folks send me emails all the time. And I'll tell you where I am, where I feel like I've had a great impact on people and they want me to be their mentor. I always talk to staff when they go through Sergeant's Academy. That's one thing that I always do. Staff are in Sergeant's Academy for a little less than 2 weeks. So during that 2-week period as regional director, not just myself, but the other regional directors, we always find time to go and talk to the people in Sergeant's Academy. And I instill in them what an impact they have on all of our correctional officers, which are the vast of our employees. And I tell them you can have a very good impact or you can have a very bad impact. But you have more of an impact because they are first line supervisors. So after every one of my talks with Sergeants Academy, I have had at least one person, but normally 2 or 3 people to come up to me and tell me, would you mind being my mentor? And I put myself in a position where I can make myself available. So I tell them, first, just send me something about yourself. Tell me what your career goals are. And I try to tell them some things that they need to do. And also with the BCOT classes, I instill in both our new correctional officers and our sergeants, you need a mentor. You need somebody that is successful, that you want to follow their lead per se.